Big Dog Roman Reigns, was he overhated and was he as bad as some people, remember it being? Well, let's break down the Big Dog Roman Reigns' career. I do think there were some good and bad things that happened through it. Before we start this video, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, comment below, man. If you enjoy wrestling content, you're at the right page. Also, every Sunday live, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, the No Name Wrestling Podcast with myself and my co-host. We go live every Sunday talking wrestling. Sometimes we do predictions, we do game shows, we have interviews, we do a bunch of things on the podcast, man. So make sure you go check that out on the same channel in the live videos. But let's dive into this conversation. Big Dog Roman Reigns. So we'll start in the year 2014 when the Shield had split up. Roman went on his own path, but he still kind of kept the Shield entrance. He kept, the Shield remix theme and everything. He pretty much kind of still kept a lot of things within the Shield, but you could tell that WWE was pretty high on Roman Reigns and they were pretty much grooming him to be one of the next top stars for the future. To give you an example, they were putting him in some big high profile main event matches that year in 2014. Money in the Bank, he's in that, big ladder match fighting for the WWE World Heavyweight titles. Battleground, he's in the Fatal 4-Way match with the guys like Kane, Randy Orton, and John Cena, 3 top guys who were established legends in the company at that time frame. And then at SummerSlam, he had that big match against Randy Orton, which was a phenomenal match right there. So, you can tell they were pretty much, baby steps grooming Roman to be one of the next top guys, but I don't know if a lot of people really knew they were grooming him to be the next guy. Now, I don't know if a lot of people remember, but Roman off the rip after the Shield broke up wasn't really getting booed that much. Go back and look at TLC 2014 when Roman came back after his hernia surgery and everything. He got a pretty big reaction. So as you can hear, Roman was still popular among the fans until this night right here. Royal Rumble 2015 is when it all changed. With Daniel Bryan coming back from his injury, a lot of the fans still wanted Daniel Bryan to be that guy. And after he got eliminated so early in that match, a lot of people pretty much knew what the agenda was, and that was Roman Reigns was going to win this match. And the fans turned on it immediately. Not even The Rock could save the day. When The Rock came out, he got cheered, but it wasn't too long when the fans started booing again and realizing that Roman Reigns was going to win the Royal Rumble. And from there, that's where really the love-hate relationship began with Roman Reigns. I mean, you go look at, Roman Reigns in 2015, he really wasn't ready for that top spot. I mean, he's in the main event of WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, which a lot of people didn't really feel like he was ready for that top spot, which is why he didn't walk out of WrestleMania with the championship that day, because it was just too early for a lot of people, man. And you go back and look at some of those promos he had, like the Magic Bean promo.
Magic Beans.
And we all remember this one right here, Suffering Succotash.
Suffering Succotash, son!
Oh my gosh, not to mention those freaking blue contacts they had him wear. Like, they were really trying over the top to get this guy so over as a good guy, and the fans they weren't rocking with it. Gosh, and then you dive into the years 2016 and 2017. Now, Roman's confidence, I believe, was starting to grow, but even with his confidence starting to grow, the fans started to boo him even more. I mean, WWE continued to shove him down people's throats as, here's the next top guy, whether you want it to be or not, it's going to be him, and you're going to accept him as that next guy. And the fans they continue to reject it time and time again. They continue to put Roman in the big, main events of the big shows like WrestleMania year by year. He's winning world championships now, but not holding them for too long. And then he's also winning, mid-card titles like the United States Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, but those reigns weren't really memorable either because they weren't, that great to begin with. So, he's winning championships and he's in high-profile feuds. He's having good matches, but the fans just aren't fully behind him to be in the position of being the top guy. I think Roman really kind of started to embrace the hate as well, which he had really no choice to. I mean, the Raw after WrestleMania 33 when he came out and the fans completely wreaked havoc with the chants and all the stuff. They were just letting Roman know how they felt, but during that promo, every time he put the mic up to his face, they booed and got louder, but Roman said, I got him in the palm of my hand. So I think he knew the agenda and what he was doing, and I think everybody expected the reactions that, he was going to get was going to happen that night. But then you look at 2018 and 2019, by far the 2 worst booking years of this man's career, and this is where the pure hatred for this man really took off and started to grow, at least in my opinion. let's dive into 2018. So Braun Strowman is dominating in the Elimination Chamber match. Eliminates every single freaking soul in that match in convincing fashion. Everybody in that match got eliminated by Braun Strowman except for one guy. And it was Roman Reigns. It comes down to Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, and the one guy Braun Strowman cannot overcome is the one guy majority of the fans do not want to see win the match. And the overbooking of Roman Reigns really went to the extreme, and WrestleMania 34 really shows it. You have Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns fight in the main event of WrestleFreaking-Mania, the biggest show of the year. And these are the two guys in the company around the time frame that majority, not all, but majority of the fans don't want to see fighting for the Universal Championship, and damn sure don't want to see in the main event. And this man, Roman Reigns, took 5 F5s in a row and kicked out. And then took another F5 and took 6 F5s to beat this man in the main event of WrestleMania. When Brock Lesnar took the streak at WrestleMania, it didn't even take 6 F5s to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and he was undefeated for 21 years. When Brock Lesnar conquered Super Cena, it didn't even take 3 F5s to beat that man. It took 2. When Brock Lesnar fought guys like Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman, who were built up to be dominant forces and dominant threats against Brock Lesnar's title reign, it didn't even take 2 F5s to beat those guys. It took literally 1. Those guys got beat by 1 F5, but it takes 6 to beat Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania. This is why a lot of fans around that time really hated Roman Reigns, because of the way they were booking him and structuring him in the company. Gosh, y'all, I can't make this up. The booking gets even worse after that. He has the rematch against Brock at the Greatest Royal Rumble, the first Saudi Arabia show WWE ever did. Brock Lesnar gets speared through the steel cage by Roman Reigns, and the rules have always been, whoever feet hits the ground first, that person wins the match. Whoever's feet hits the ground first, that person wins the match. And Roman Reigns' feet hit the ground before Brock Lesnar's did, but because Brock Lesnar's body hit the ground first, they gave Brock Lesnar the win, and he retained the damn championship. But then it gets even worse. After that match, who do they put Roman Reigns into a feud with? They put him in a feud with Jinder Mahal, another guy that majority of the fans didn't care about and damn sure didn't want to see fighting Roman Reigns. But this is how much the hatred was for Roman Reigns. They couldn't even get Roman Reigns to get cheered over Jinder freaking Mahal. That's how much people hated this man at that time. He couldn't even get babyface reactions over Jinder Mahal. Then he gets thrown into a feud with Bobby Lashley. At Extreme Rules, Bobby Lashley beats Roman Reigns clean, which is like shocking. Oh my gosh, Bobby Lashley just came back to WWE. He's going to get that big push. He's going to fight Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. That's what we all thought, and that's what we all wanted to see at the time, because we had been waiting for Brock and Bobby's match, to finally happen. But then after beating Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules, then they had another match on Raw where, the winner becomes the number 1 contender to fight Brock for the Universal Championship. And Roman Reigns beats Bobby Lashley and becomes the number 1 contender. But Bobby Lashley had already just beat Roman Reigns clean at Extreme Rules. So why couldn't Bobby Lashley just make the statement to claim himself as the number 1 contender? Because he literally just beat Roman Reigns straight up at Extreme Rules. And then he loses the number 1 contender match, and now we gotta get Roman and Brock again for the 3rd time in 1 year, which not a lot of people wanted to see happen. After dragging out the Roman and Brock feud, Roman finally beats Brock at SummerSlam, but then unfortunately, his leukemia came back, and he had to, leave to get his health right and make himself better, which was the right thing to do. Now, he comes back, after, battling cancer and beating it once again, which is freaking awesome, and he's getting some pretty good reactions, because obviously he comes back, he just beat cancer. How can you really hate that? But it really didn't take long for the fans to once again starting to boo Roman Reigns and hate him once again. It really didn't take too long before the fans realized, okay, Roman's back. It's cool he beat cancer, but yeah, we still don't want him to be that top guy. And I will never understand. I will never understand the 2019 booking decision behind Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns lost 3 pay-per-view matches that year to Shane McMahon, Eric Rowan, and Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin, not even the way he is right now. Not Lone Wolf Baron Corbin. It was like King Corbin or something. A Baron Corbin that nobody cared about and that wasn't valuable on the roster. He's losing to Eric Rowan on pay-per-views. He lost to Shane McMahon in a match on a pay-per-view. Why is Shane McMahon beating Roman Reigns at all? That to me just doesn't make sense. And then not to mention the stuff they did with the dog mascot and the dog food they had dumped on him. Like, this is supposed to be your top guy. Look at this picture right here. This is supposed to be your top guy and quote-unquote the face of the WWE, and he getting dog food dumped on him just because of his nickname. And thankfully, you know, when 2020 came around, Roman Reigns was smart enough to take his career in the palm of his hand and then reinvent himself into the Tribal Chief, which literally saved his career and has turned him into become one of the biggest stars in WWE history, and has cemented him to me to be in the top 10 greatest WWE superstars of all time with this run that he's had as the Tribal Chief. But the big dog Roman had his pros, had its cons. I will say though, the one thing that the big dog Roman does get criticized for that I will always defend is his match quality. Big dog Roman Reigns had a lot of good matches. Let's not get it twisted. All those matches I just showed right there in that little clip right there, all those matches were good matches. So Roman Reigns as the big dog always had good matches, you know what I mean? Like, some of the matches he had, they definitely were bad, but, you know, a lot of wrestlers have good matches, have bad matches you don't want to remember. Like, that's just a part of wrestling, right? But he was never a bad wrestler. Still today isn't a bad wrestler. His promos at one point weren't that great, but he improved over time, as you can see today and everything. But he just didn't have the fan support because I believe a lot of fans hated the way WWE was trying to force him upon us, and the way they were trying to structure him to be this over-the-top babyface that was never going to work for him. I think they were trying too hard to make him fill the shoes that John Cena had, but he could never replicate John Cena. John Cena even said it himself when he killed him in that promo in 2017. You're a John Cena 2.0 and it's not working out. The fans see right through you. I'm still here because you can't do your job. You're supposed to be the guy, but I gotta come back and still pretend like I'm the guy when I already got one foot out the door to Hollywood and I'm trying to go do my own thing over here. But you need to be the guy. You need to step up and be the guy, but you're not the guy really because the fans are telling you we don't want you as the guy. It was just a big cluster, you know, F word, I'll say. Like, it was just a big mess, man. Like, the way WWE was trying so freaking hard to make Roman Reigns a babyface, making him shave his face with the goatee and everything and have the smooth look, like the way they were trying so hard, they were trying really hard to get this guy accepted as a babyface for like 7 straight years. For 7 years, and the fans time and time again said, no, we don't want Roman to be the babyface. He doesn't need to be the babyface. Let him be a heel. People have said that for years. If you let Roman be a heel and let him do his own thing, he can succeed tremendously. And look what happened when he turned heel. The best thing that ever happened to his career. He succeeded tremendously. So was the big dog Roman Reigns ever really as bad as people make it out to be? I don't think it was as bad as far as his presentation, as far as him having good matches, but as far as his presentation of his gimmick and his character, I'll say absolutely yes. I mean, especially in that 2018-2019 era when he was winning matches that fans didn't want to see him win. And WWE smart enough to know they didn't want to see him win those matches. And the way they were overbooking him, trying to make him look strong and make others not look as strong as him, it just wasn't making Roman any more popular. It was making a lot of fans hate him even more. But there's no doubt, Roman Reigns definitely had one of the greatest reinventions of all time. I mean, to be in the big spotlight for like 7 years and being rejected by the fans, heavily and booed, to reinvent yourself, to be finally accepted by the fans, at least majority of the fans, where they can say, yes, Roman, you're now the guy, we quote-unquote acknowledge you, you finally have arrived. Now, Roman's still going to have haters, he's still going to have people who don't like him, but that's cool. Like, not everybody's going to like every single wrestler, that's impossible, right? But I think majority of the fans now finally accept him as the Tribal Chief, as the top guy, more than what he was as the big dog and being forced upon the fans as, you know, the next top babyface they wanted him to be, which was never going to work for Roman Reigns in the beginning. To wrap things up, I really appreciate the support. We're almost at 12K on the channel, so salute, man. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, comment below. Also, turn on the notifications for future uploads for this channel, and to be lookout for the No Name Wrestling Podcast, live every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time Zone. We talk wrestling all the time. You're not going to want to miss it. And we also allow the people who follow us to come on and join from time to time to chat wrestling with us, have debates, you know, just have casual conversations. Sometimes the fans want to interact with people they watch and just talk wrestling. So we allow that to happen once a month on the open mic episodes. Make sure you be on the lookout for that. But I also want to know from you all, final question. If you were booking, how would you have booked the big dog Roman Reigns' character, whether you're a Roman fan or not a Roman fan, doesn't matter. What would you have done to switch things up to make Roman Reigns get, I guess, accepted more by the fans and get more cheers than he was getting boos? Let me know in the comment section.